No, stay there. Where's she going?
When if I'm alone in the pool, I can be scared.
Can you take it on account? Right here?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm not just I just get. Yes. You putting me down, you know?
I think they go to the dive.
You don't like this? That's why I don't put it on your face like this. What, the water? The sunblock. I'm talking about the
Mooi, Boetie.
Wat is het?
Watching it. On the boat. Yeah, I'll just float. And be dead still. And hyperventilate.
Hoe zit men denn rein?
Maybe it was
Wait. I'm not sure.
Kan jullie niet diep gaan? Nou, luister zo.
Iso, kom vlakken. Iso. Kom Iso.
Wieso kommt das schön?
Kom eens uit de noord. Zwem daar bij mama. Kijk op. Kom eens zwemmen.
Will nicht springen, los, Feuer! Ja, kom. Die Kinder sind sehr gut, Mama. Da lässt du über den Faller die Stützräder. Ja, da kannst du nicht schwimmen. Ja, das ist ja aussieht. Da gehst du unter. Irgendwo mit Sätzen. Du musst mal rein. Du musst das... Du musst das mal alleine sein. Jetzt bist du nachher 10 Jahre alt und kannst noch nicht schwimmen. Sagen die Leute nachher, oh, guck mal, der Roman ist 10 Jahre alt und schwimmt noch.
Ja, das war ja.
Komm hoch. Du kannst dich an der Tante festhalten. Ja? Roman, du kannst dich an der Tante festhalten.
Roman zegt zelf voor jou, jong.
Roman, zwem. Kom, kijk.
Kijk zo, Roman. Dat zit zo, kijk eens op. German Zwem die Engels praten, nee.
Mooi, zuster. Sussie swim.
Jy het klaar vir die huis, ons sal dit môre gaan saam.
Mooi sis. Swim gou weer vir mamma. Swim in mamma se kat nou. Go swim my toe. Swim in that toe. Ek kan nou nie sien nie, Wean. Ek kan nou nie sien nie. Go down and swim. Oh, okay. Mooi hoor. Is wanneer hy wys so 'n kolletjie met 'n streepie deur.
Langs die kant ergens gedrukt.
Weet jy wat dit is, hè?
Lekker boude.
Is jy die Mimi?
Dit is my ma en mama Griet. Ek is seker.
Was?
Ja, dat is gelukkig van die water. Marcus is gelukkig klein. Dit is goed boude.
Die vlekjes.
Die wil zonder zich krijgen.
Is die man zo?
Nee, dan is het diep. Dan kan ik niet naar papa.
Ja.
Oké. Nee, dat kan je niet meer
Ik heb veel van mijn deur.
Werken zou je op weg. Hè? Ik blijf eens aan terug.
Had ik het afnemen.
Goed geluisterd.
Ja, nee. Ja. Nee, ik kan niet zwemmen zonder die vlerkjes. Heel? Zo, ik kan nog niet. Nog graag op ook daar af te nemen.
Waar?
Ik kan nog voor een toe af te nemen.
Get klaar.
Mimi.
Ek het klaar. Ek het klaar.
Mimi kan Mimi.
Die vlerkjes help je.
Kijk.
those who survive, how they can go on.
But I don't know what to do with my life now. I don't want to do any humanitarian operation.
It is the threat of a deadly disease in the devastated areas that now becomes a primary concern. The head of the UN's relief agency says the world body is going into high gear and is urged rich nations to do the same.
I think this tsunami affecting Southeast Asia is not the biggest in recorded history, but the effects may be the biggest ever, because many more people live in exposed areas than ever before. The cost of the devastation will be in the billions of dollars.
The net toll hit in harvest in Sri Lanka has climbed yet again, this time to more than 12,000, and that accounts for nearly half the overall known fatalities. The Prime Minister there is calling for a tsunami warning system. Authorities are planning mass burials, but only after police take fingerprints and pictures of the dead in their efforts to identify them. In all the horrifying numbers, there are tales of survival that you will hear throughout India. Joins us now. The death toll there, according to the authorities, more than 12,000, Satinder. That accounts for nearly half the total that we are reporting at the moment, but really it's going to go higher. Does anyone have any idea how much higher?
Richard, this death toll will certainly climb, and I can say that with some degree of certainty because just where I'm standing, Richard, there's a little pastry shop. We're going to pan across and try and show it to you. It's called the Little Lanka Pastry Store. It's just over that yellow bus that you see. Across this white van, in that shop alone, 5 people were killed. And just to the left of that store is a supermarket with a basement. In the basement itself, there were dozens of people who were killed. In that basement, just a short while ago, Richard, I found a clock which had stopped ticking at 9:32. That was when the first waves hit. So right here in the town of Gaul itself, Richard, the death count is estimated to be over 1,500. Now going by these numbers, it's fair to say that the death count here in Sri Lanka will rise and will continue to rise over the next 24 hours. What you're seeing over my shoulder, Richard, is a massive cleanup operation. Citizens and relief workers are trying to get their city back on track. And another bit of news, in the last 15 minutes, Richard, 2 Indian Air Force helicopters have just landed here in Gaul carrying relief supplies, and they're much needed for the people of this city. For medical supplies, food, blankets, and temporary shelter. So the situation here in terms of the water supply is a concern. But Richard, along with that concern, also another concern, one of health. There are many bodies that are still being found. In fact, just 10 minutes ago, a body right here where we are standing was moved. Now, these bodies are being cremated very quickly. In some cases, mass cremations are being organized because the temperature here is quite hot, and the health authorities are obviously concerned about the risk of disease and the risk of infection spreading quite quickly. But the Sri Lankan authorities here in the town of Gaul are moving very quickly. I'm standing right outside what used to be the bus station, and there were several upturned buses here, but at least 7 or 8 of them have now been towed away. They're moving very fast here as far as getting the city back on track is concerned.
Across the Indian Ocean, the death toll has been rising by the hour. Our senior Asia correspondent, Mike Chinoy, is near the epicenter, and he joins us now with that side of the story. Mike, we just heard from Satinder about how the
trickle of relief supplies are beginning away, and the city was swept by a wall of water up to 4 or 5 kilometers inland. The city sits on the coast. People said 3 and 4 meter high wall of water just poured through the town. I've been talking to many of the survivors, many of whom are camped out here behind me, having lost their homes, having lost everything with nowhere to go. And they all tell similar stories, an earthquake that lasted for 5 agonizing minutes, and about 5 or 10 minutes later, this wall of water racing into the town, people screaming and yelling, one person talking about hundreds of people running down the street trying to escape the water. Almost everyone you meet has a horror story, people who've lost parents, siblings, children, people who don't know where their relatives are. I met one couple who said that while the upper story of their 3-story house was still intact, the lower stories had been damaged, and they couldn't stay because there were too many bodies, and the stench of death was too intense. In fact, about 10 minutes from where I'm standing, the authorities are working on a mass grave, but the question of unburied bodies and the danger of infection in this very hot tropical weather is a very real one. Richard?
We will leave that for that. So could have been reduced.
Oh, wijze papa van beneden.
Whose jet is this? No name. Is it yours? You're out. You go sit down.
Marco, wijze mama jou krap. Oeh, kom kyk hier binne is.
Right. Whose is this? Daniel. Park up. Park your jet. Whose is this? Suzette. Park your jet. Right. The rest of you, pick up your jet. Come back to your line. You have a choice. You can stick with the aeroplane, or you want to make another one. You got 2 minutes. Are you sticking? All of you sticking. Are you making a new one, or are you sticking? Step back. You're all keeping your airplanes. You're out, eh? She's out. You must sit down. Sit down. Right, if you... Right, spread out. Jungle bike jets in the hands. Are you ready? On your mark. Get set. Go. Oh, let's have a look here.
opinion. Litter of the beaches breached Sri Lanka's coastline. The country is one of the worst affected. Many people only learned of the impending disaster when the sea level suddenly dropped seconds before the tsunami crashed into the shore. Scientists say that the mounting death toll could have been reduced if an international warning system had been in place. India, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Malaysia, and Bangladesh were
right decisions in any country.
The wealthier members of your association, the Commonwealth, you will be, I suppose, trying to negotiate and trying to send round to get more money out.
Well, not negotiate, just say, look, here are your fellow members. In the Commonwealth, basically, people support each other. Go back to Grenada a couple of months ago in the Caribbean, a lot of Commonwealth support. Commonwealth support will be coming to these states. And my job is to keep motivating that support and make sure it gets there, gets to the right place. Sanitation engineers you need in these places to restore the kind of services that, you know, prevent outbreaks of disease which can be very serious.
Ancient Indians.
Welcome back. Live from London, I'm Juanita Rajpal. Most of our coverage this morning is dedicated to the tsunamis that struck South Asia over the weekend, the efforts to assess the catastrophic damage, and the equally massive relief efforts that are needed. Well, the official death toll in Sri Lanka stands at more than 12,000 people right now. That number is rising. We're hearing numbers going all the way up to 18,000, yet to be confirmed. But again, there are thousands more that may be dead from the tsunamis that hit remote areas of the island nation. CNN's Satinder Bindra is in the southern port city of Galle. He joins us now. Satinder, as you look around, you're hearing many stories from those who have lost loved ones. What are you hearing? What are you seeing?
Monica, the first thing that I'm hearing is that these official numbers of 12,000 dead appear to be a very conservative estimate. As I look around me, the first story that I hear is from a place called the Little Lanka Pastry Shop. This is a pastry shop about 100 yards from where I am. And when the water came rushing in, 5 women died here in a matter of minutes. Just to the left of me, another large department store with a basement. According to locals, hundreds died there. So what people are upset about here is they feel that officials are underestimating the number of deaths. I just got back from one local hospital here. Over the past 2 days, some 800 bodies have been brought there, and 300 of these bodies remain unidentified. So health officials have now ordered mass burials. A massive relief operation, I should also add, is underway, and Indian helicopters are ferrying in supplies. Local officials, for their part, are extremely concerned about health conditions. They're trying to dispose of loaded bodies as quickly as they can. They're also cleaning up the city as quickly as they can.
And Satinder, just to add to that, are those who need the aid the most, are they getting it?
When they go, this is a camera, the linear never going to have a good cry. You see, and I come back and I feel better.
Die oomblik baie welkom by vanaand se hier op SABC2 en baie dankie vir die saamwerking. Die dodetal na die reuse aardbewing en daaropvolgende tsunamies wat Suidoos-Asië 2 dae gelede getref het tot 55.000 gestyg en daar word gevrees dat tot 60.000 mense moontlik omgekom het. Internasionale humanitaire organisasies raam dat dit die omvangrykste en duurste reddingspoging in mensgeheugenis kan wees. Intussen is honderde vliegtuie met noodvoorraad en reddingsspanne op pad na Suidoos-Asië. Een van hulle is 'n vliegtuig uit Suid-Afrika wat omstreeks 9 vanaand Suid-Afrikaanse tyd in Phuket in Thailand verwag word, waar sowat 300 Suid-Afrikaners vasgekeer is. Dit blyk egter of baie van hulle teen die naweek terug op eie bodem kan wees.
Die vlieg toe die tsunamies die gewilde vakansiebestemming getref het.
We were sitting at the table early in the morning, having breakfast. The next morning, one of our group turned around, and he literally saw the boats which were on the beach, in the sea, in the air, and everybody started screaming, and we just saw this torrent of water rushing towards us, and I personally jumped up and I started running, literally and figuratively for the hills. And behind us came a rush of people and jet skis and motorbikes and motorboats and this huge wall of water. But luckily I escaped. There's a lot of other tourists and landed up on the hills at Phuket.
Meneer Lewitt sê hy weet van talle Suid-Afrikaners wat nog op die eiland vasgekeer is. Die liggame van die 4 Suid-Afrikaners wie se dood reeds bevestig is, sal heel waarskynlik ook op die vliegtuig na Suid-Afrika teruggebring word. Amptenare van buiteland
by Paradys. So het Pipi-eiland Kersdag nog gelyk. Dus tonele uit die omgewing wat dikwels in Hollywood glansrolprente pryk. Onlangs is Pipi-eiland as die 3de mooiste eiland ter wêreld aangewys. Het is geen wonder dat honderde duisende toeriste, insluitend 'n paar duisend Suid-Afrikaners, elke jaar daarheen stroom. Meneer Travis Gale is een van hen. Hy het herhaaldings sy vakansie verleng om as duikinstructeur op Pipi-eiland te werk. Meneer Gale sê om tot die toeriste uitneem na die duikwaters van die Andaman-see wat gewoonlik so koud is. Meneer Gale sê meer as 700 mense is dood. Van die rye toeristenkrampies, restaurante, hotelle en eilandwoonhuise is niks oor nie.
Kijkers ontstel.
Oorlewendes in 7 lande aan die kus van die Indiese Oseaan het vandag wanhopig deur die puin en opdrifsels gesoek na die liggame van hulle geliefdes, terwyl die dodetal die hoogte inskiet. Plaaslike regerings is magteloos gelaat en het 'n desperate oproep gedoen oral teen die kus het die see van dooie mense en diere uitgespoel. Hulporganisasies styg van die noodroep. Die internasionale Rooi Kruis, wat reeds meer as $6 miljoen bewillig het, sê hy sal dalk minstens 3 keer soveel nodig hê vir sy deel van die operasie. Die Verenigde Nasies, wat in die beperkte sanksies teen sommige lande reeds 'n reuse reddingspoging van stapel gestuur het, sê die feit dat soveel lande geraak word, maak die ramp uniek. Die VN het reeds honderde hulppakkette met noodvoorraad uit 12 lande versend, wat binne 48 uur in die gebied versprei sal word. Die onbereikbaarheid van baie gebiede, weens onbegaanbare roetes of oorstroomde paaie en gebiede, maak dit vir noodledigingsspanne nog moeiliker. Owerhede sidder voor die bedreiging van epidemies, wat besoedelde waterbronne en derduisende ontbindende liggame vir oorlewendes inhou. Na wat berig word, was meer as 1/3 van die wat omgekom het, kinders. Bedroefde ouers het vandag voortgesoek na hulle gesinslede, terwyl duisende mense ook van geliefdes afskeid geneem het voordat hulle in massagrafte ter ruste gelê is. Die aardbewing wat die seebodem aan die kus van die Indonesiese eiland Sumatra gekraak het volgens die Italiaanse wetenskaplikes die krag van 1 miljoen atoombomme, so groot soos die wat by Hiroshima geval het gehad. Dat die geweldige skudding die aarde se wenteling versteur het. Een van die grootste skokke vandag was toe minstens 770 mense se liggame by Kaulakstrand noord van Phuket ontdek is. So 2/3 van die inwoners van die Indiese eilande Andaman en Nicobar, wat naby die episentrum van die aardbewing geleë is, het omgekom. Meer as 100 lugmagoffisiere en hulle gesinne het van een van die basisse op een van die eilande verdwyn.
Hibiscus Coast Tourism. All you have to do is
van weersiektes kan verdubbel indien die toestand nie binne die volgende 3 weke gestabiliseer word nie. Die dodetal staan reeds op meer as 75.000 met die grootste aantal sterftes in Indonesië. Meer as 5 miljoen mense is haweloos gelaat. Ons waarsku sensitiewe kykers dat van die beeldmateriaal ontstellend kan wees.
30.000 mense dood is in die tsunami-ramp, is die hele westelike vloot ontplooi om stede en eilande te bereik vanwaar daar nog geen taal of tyding sedert die ramp ontvang is nie. Meer as 100.000 mense is beseer. Die meeste van die sterftes was in die noordwestelike provinsie Aceh en hele bataljon soldate en polisie-eenhede word nog vermis. 'n Walm hang oor die gebied van liggame wat ontbind en daar is 'n groot tekort aan drinkwater, kos en brandstof. Die naburige Australië het 4 vragvliegtuie gestuur met voorraad. In Indië word vragtelyke in massagrafte begrawe. Die dodetal in die land staan op 12.500, maar die owerheid het opgehou om rekord te hou en probeer lyke so vinnig moontlik begrawe. Talle slagoffers was die vroue en kinders van vissermanne. Ook in Sri Lanka word massagrafte gegrawe vir die duisende slagoffers. Meer as 20.000 mense het in die land die lewe gelaat en nog soveel word vermis. Beseerdes het vandag van hulle nagmerrie vertel.
The walls cave in. The water carried me about a kilometer into the lagoon.
One climbed up the roof, but it was possible. The wave was so strong, they bring me at least 500-600 meters through the jungle.
1000 Europese toeriste word in hospitale behandel. Intussen is satellietbeelde vandag bekendgestel van die oomblik toe die tsunami die suidwestelike kus van Sri Lanka getref het. Die beelde is geneem 4 uur na die aardbewing wat 8,9 op die Richterskaal geregistreer het.
Intussen het 65 Suid-Afrikaners.
After several revisions of figures, Indonesia and here in Sri Lanka, the official statistics climbed ever higher as the day went on. The Foreign Office at London have confirmed that 27 British people are known to have died. The UN has been appealing for £68 million in food, water and sanitation equipment. The UK public has donated some £20 million in addition to the £15 million which was given by the British, but echoed right around the many territories that have been affected by it. Its donations have started to arrive in the most part, but it's the difficulty then, the logistical problem perhaps, of having the manpower, the machinery, the aircraft, the trucks.
Areas. Sky's Bernie Smith is at Heathrow Airport for us now. Bernard, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon from Heathrow.
Luckily, the hotel I was staying in, I was in the back, and didn't think a whole lot about it at first, and then I heard the wind suck the other direction, and I knew something was wrong. I got up, and there was 3 rooms left standing, mine and 2 others. I'm the last. I was in a group of 6, and me and my bag's the only thing that was coming back. But they were standing an extra day to go dive, and they went out that morning. And there's nothing.
We just were running at us, and we thought we were running for, and then we just saw this wall of water about as high as the top of the coconut trees, and we just demolished everything. Everything just went into it.
So what did you do? Because you must have been mesmerised.
Ran for the high ground. We just got there before the water did.
And what about other people? Were you with a group? Is it just the 2 of you?
It was just the 2 of us at the time, but
people just those who got out, got up higher, and then we went to the top of the hill and sat there for a while, and it was just the screams and horrible.
We got up a bit later than usual because obviously...
En dis ons liewe hier op SABC2 goeienaand en dankie dat jy ingeskakel het. Duisende Europese toeriste word steeds in Suidoos-Asië vermis na die verwoestende aardbewing en tsunami Sondag, wat reeds die lewens van 120.000 mense geëis het. Die sterftesyfers styg eerliks met etlike duisende na mate afgeleë gebiede deur reddingsspanne bereik word. Verskeie Suid-Afrikaners word nog vermis. Die grootste lewensverlies was verreweg in Indonesië, waar die dodetal die 50.000 per nader. In Sri Lanka kan die dodetal tot 30.000 styg, die talle wat nog vermis word. Van die byna 2.000 sterftes in Thailand was meer as 700 buitelandse toeriste. 6.000 mense word nog in Della vermis.
Nuwe amateur beeldmateriaal is vandag bekom van die oomblik toe die tsunami die kus van Sri Lanka getref het. Toeriste het magteloos van die boonste verdiepings van Della toegekyk hoe palmbome ontwortel en die gebied in 'n watermassa omgeskep word. Beeldmateriaal is ook beskikbaar van die oomblik wat die vloedgolf die vakansieeiland Phuket in Thailand getref het, waar talle mense gesterf het, insluitend Suid-Afrikaners. Ligsfoto van die eiland Koh Phi Phi in Thailand toon die verwoesting wat deur die tsunami aangerig is. Alles in sy pad is deur die water platgeveeg. Intussen word lyke op groot skaal in massagrafte begrawe in 'n poging om die uitbreking van siektes te voorkom. In die Indiese stad Kerala word massaverassings gehou. Meer as 5 miljoen mense in die geraakte lande benodig kos en skoon water en daar is reeds berigte ontvang van masels, maagkoors en diarree. Minstens 70 toeriste het verdrink in Sri Lanka se Della Nasionale Park. Motors en busse is deur die geweld van die vloedgolf honderde meter ver geslimmer. Op Khao Lak, die strand in Thailand waar die ergste geraak is, lê lyke in lang rye terwyl forensiese kundiges hulle probeer identifiseer. Tot 3000 mense het moontlik daar omgekom. Meer as 1000 toeriste van Swede word nog vermis. Die land beskou dit as die grootste ramp wat hom nog getref het.
It is a national catastrophe. There's no doubt of that. I think almost every person in Sweden has some relationship with the people who has some kind of connection with this tragedy.
Hartroerende verhale van ouers wat hulle kinders probeer red het, tree ook nou na vore. 'n Australiese ma vertel van die keuse wat sy moes maak tussen haar kinders om minstens een te laat oorleef.
I knew I had to let go of one of them, and I just thought I'd better let go of the one that's the youngest. And a lady grabbed hold of him for a moment, but she said that she had to let him go because she was going under. And I was screaming, trying to find him, and we thought he was dead.
Die kind is 'n paar uur later gevind waar hy aan 'n deur vasgeklou het.
I'm just so thankful that I've still got my two kids with me.
Intussen stroom hulp na die landgebiede. Indië en die Seychelles is die jongste lande wat gevra het om hulp nadat hoë duinings en gevolglike oorstromings die lewens van 132 mense geëis het. Vroeër is die Keniaanse kus deur vloedgolwe getref. Somalië blyk die Afrika-land te wees wat die
Toe hoor ek net mense skree en kinders skree en toe ek so uitkyk uit my hotelkamer uit want ek het 'n hele uitsig gehad op die see. Toe sien ek net water, hierdie massiewe golf water wat kom. En hoe hy die mense in die karre optel, die karre was soos veertjies. En hy vat daai karre en hy gooi dit teen die hotelkamer. Ons taxi was op die tweede vloer ingegooi. En toe die golf inkom, toe draai hy, want ons het 'n swembad gehad voor in die middel. En hy het al die mense wat by die swembad was, afgevat ondertoe uit wat hy het gedraai. Die mense ingetrek, kinders, ou mense, jy noem het. En hulle het saamgevat.
Die regering tref intussen verdere regelings om die oorlewendes van die ramp by te staan.
We have now received requests from
container ship. His story is told as more images of the tragedy striking are released.
Carried to safety by a Malaysian cargo ship, 21-year-old Ari Afrizal makes his way onto dry land. The Indonesian was helping friends build a house in Aceh on the day the tsunami struck. Washed out to sea, clinging to some driftwood, it was 2 full days before he swam to an abandoned and leaking fishing boat. He managed to spend 4 days in that before finally spotting a raft. He survived the next 10 days eating coconuts that were drifting on the ocean and almost missed his shot at salvation when he saw a ship.
I managed to whistle at the ship and then waved my hands. The ship sped on, but it sounded the klaxon and I stood up. I thought the ship had left the area and I sat down and cried. But the ship returned and cheered me up. I then waved at them as I knew I was safe.
But tens of thousands of people were not so lucky. More amateur videos have been released showing the full force of the disaster. In this one, shot at the same beach in Thailand, the sea can be seen pulling back. Nature's warning of what was to come. The latest before and after shots released by satellite image company Digital Globe reveal the extent of this paradise lost. The only trees remaining in this part of Indonesia are to be found on high ground. Back in Thailand, the world's first international forensic identification center is in full swing. Launched by Interpol, it's aiming to identify more than 5,000 tsunami victims. More than 40 experts from 20 countries have been flown in.
This is what you saw. Well, that's not what I'm talking about right now. That was the wave that actually hit us and caused all the devastation.
We turned our back and started running, so I don't think we saw that.
The specific island that we were on is designed in the shape of a half moon. So essentially, it's a very shallow bay that you can walk in low tide. You can walk 40 or 50 meters out, and it only comes up to your knees. Yeah. In the pictures over here.
That's what it was like.
Did you say that's what it was?
Well, that picture there. I mean, I must have seen that, just a glimpse of it. I don't remember seeing that exact image, but it's just total frightening.
You know, when we're seeing, obviously, we're seeing a lot of these, well, I haven't seen these specific pictures. This is the first time I'm seeing them on 3 Talk today, but there are gazillions of pictures that are coming up on CNN and on SABC News. Do you think, now that you're back, what you are seeing on television and what actually happened, has it been captured in your mind?
You know, the images are terrible.
On air at the moment, that's our bungalow. It's about 25 meters up from sea level, and we had a good view of what was going on. And when the first wave hit, I was about, well, that's the reception area, and that's what the beach looks like at low tide. And you can actually see the sand from where we are, and it goes out about 40 meters out. And you can actually see the level of the sea is very low, and the shape of the beach is, the design was specifically, made this tragedy very bad due to the fact that the shape of the beach just channeled the wave straight into the island and carried people over the island. And when I heard the crash, when I was in my bungalow, that whole beach that you had seen in that picture was totally underwater. The village was underwater. At the time, I thought it was high tide, and until I realized that there were bodies in the water, and people were running up to our hotel for salvation and trying to, you know, find their loved ones, then I only realized the gravity of what was going on.
Must have turned around and saw this mass of water coming towards us, and we started to run. But the area that we were in, there was nowhere to run to. It was a pool deck. So we got to almost like a balcony, which as far as we got to, and then the wave hit us and threw us over this balcony, which is probably about 3 meters high off the ground, 3 to 4 meters high off the ground.
Sure.
And at that stage, Gabby got swept over the whole island. I don't know if you've got a picture of PP Island, what it actually looks like. But it's,
I'm sure we do. We'll show it a little later. Yeah.
As Warwick said, it's a strip of land.
That's, oh God, my word.
Yeah, I mean that's what I saw, and that's what just frightened us to death. And then I fell over this balcony, got swept underwater, and I was drowning at this stage. And then, thank God, I came up for air, and I found myself in a roof of almost like a, I don't know, it was a breakfast area. It was like just a roof with pillars in it, and I was inside this roof, and the water was raising. It was coming up.
Yeah.
And there were about 3 or 4 other people hanging onto the beams of this wooden structure. And at that stage, a canoe, there was a canoe just swirling around in this roof, which I climbed onto. And then I waited for the water to subside, and it subsided. And then I floated out of this roof structure, and I held onto a tree until I could see the ground, which was probably 10 to 15 minutes. At which point I climbed down, walked back onto this pool structure. They said another wave was coming. And at this point, if another wave would have, I was just frightened to death now. And my foot was cut and there's blood everywhere. So I took my shirt, tied it around my foot. We ran through the spa of the pool area and sat at the back there. The next wave came, but thank goodness it wasn't big enough to come over that whole pool area. And I saw that wave come through, and then we went to the roof of the spa area. Some guys helped us get it. It's a one-story building, and I sat there for 2 hours, bandaged up my feet, and didn't realize what it was.
What had really happened?
The view that I had, though, was if I looked over this down onto where the bungalows used to be, there was just nothing left. 200 bungalows of the hotel which we were at, it was just flattened. There was nothing left, and the water was just draining off the island.
The worst thing in a situation.
The Thai people.
Well, they helped us a hell of a lot.
And laying them out in rows in makeshift mortuaries, which was basically a temple where they were laying the bodies out, and they didn't have any coverings for the bodies. So they just lay them out in rows and then expect the families to walk through the rows in this intense heat to look at these decomposing bodies and try and identify the person. It's not possible. All that you could actually identify a person by was either by their jewelry, tattoos, scarf.
And he still asked the waiter what was wrong. He didn't know anything. And he saw the boats turn around and start coming towards us. At that moment, I was still in the dining area, and I came back up to the patio when I looked to the left, and there was this wave, which just knocked me. As I saw it, I just prayed out loud because I got such a shock. I just didn't see any of the water disappearing or anything.
When you say you saw a wave, paint a picture for me. How high was it?
Wall of water.
Oh, just one big wall of water rushing towards you.
With the noise, that loud noise that was coming towards me. And within seconds, I was pinned against the wall with all the people from the patio that were running out from the patio onto me. And I jumped over a ledge into a pool. And the wave knocked me under, and I just swallowed as much water as I could. Yeah. And when I couldn't swallow anymore, I tried to come to the surface, but then...
Why were you swallowing water?
I don't know, I just swallowed. Okay. That was my instinct, I just swallowed.
Yeah.
And then I got to the roof, and the water was right up to the roof. I couldn't go any further. I don't know where I was at that moment.
Were you panicking?
Yeah, then eventually I realized I can't get out, so I just saw darkness and I was going down. And then the next minute, I was out in a rapid, behind our hotel, behind a second hotel, down a raging rapid with all the debris. And, sorry, I'm so nervous.
No, don't be. Don't ignore the cameras, they don't exist.
And I was trying to hang on to something that I could float on, because I thought if I got tired or pulled under, and it was just whizzing past me, the cushions and everything. I couldn't get anything.
Yeah. And at this stage, you had no control.
No
So
control.
the water was just taking you wherever?
Yes.
All right. What's going through your mind?
I was thinking of my children because, especially my daughter, she was downstairs. My son was still in his room, and I thought she was drowning. So I was screaming. I was just, just terrible. I couldn't believe it. I was in such a shock
as to what was
from the whole
to you.
thing. And then a lady was in a tree, in a bark of a tree. She was holding on with a huge rat. I thought it was a cat for a minute, and then she stuck her hand out, and I just was lucky enough to go right next to her. She pulled her hand out. We grabbed the tree together with the rat. The rat was like that.
So the rat was holding on for dear life as well?
The rat was petrified. Yeah.
I would have been more terrified of the rat.
I screamed when I saw the rat, and then I got over the rat, and she couldn't swim. And then we held on. We never knew nothing about the second wave. And luckily a man was also washed out somewhere, and I saw him run across, which I realized was the pool area, because there were umbrellas. And I thought if I could get there, I'd be able to get back to the hotel. So I put it on my back, and I'm not a good swimmer, and we just got to the edge and made our way back. Just in time for my family, who already thought I was gone, to find me, and then the second wave came. We all had to run onto the roof.
All right, before we talk about the second wave, your injuries, you've got a bandage around your hand.
Yeah, I just severed my finger quite badly, which got infected, and I was just badly bruised and cut and that. But considering how I went, because I had a lot of kitchen equipment around me when I went into the wave. The bain-maries and toasters, I remember knocking me about. So I was...
Jou swinkie daar goed. Percy. 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 Hoe is jou ook eens so roof? Kyk. So papa nie laat vir papa sien. Hy het weer dan binne. Is hy binne? Is daar iets hier binne? Ja. Wie se papa boetie is dit? Myne nie om nie, want hy is ook 'n boetie. Hy is boetie se papa boetie ook. Sy is ook 'n sussie. Hy is nie sussie nie. Jy is 'n sussie. Ek is nie. Mama, kyk jy wat is in boude. Wat is boude? Mama, hy het 'n doekie aan. Hoe kan jy dit sien nie? Wag maar, ons af. Laat ek al veel vat. Kom mama, wys het 'n doekie aan. Jy geweet het 'n doekie aan. Hoe kom het 'n doekie aan? Want anders sien almal buite. Anders het Pietie. Dis of sy kop nie, mama se voorop nog. Ja, hy wil daai dan sien. Dis sy naaste. Hoekom?
En wanneer is hy gebore?
Saterdag die 5de Maart. Hoe word jy dit groot in binne? Om 16 minute oor 4. Hoe word jy dit groot in binne? Sy naaste.
Hoekom? Hoekom?
As mens 'n babatjie is en mens mamma binne in mamma se maag, gaan al die kossies daardeur in sy maagie. Dan eet hy so. Maar nou het hulle dit afgeknip toe hulle mamma se maagie oopgemaak het. En nou gaan hy self sommer deur sy maandjie
in. Ja. Nou kyk.
Mamma sal vir net nou wys.
My liefde. Mamma het geleer om hom oogies oop te maak.
Ja.
Hierdie. Hy geleer. En dit lyk nou ook. Nou kan hy kyk hoe lyk ons. Nee, Marco. Hoe lyk dit? Een goed duivies. Mama, hoe kyk so? Hy lyk anders soos die ander een.
Wie?
Soos die ander iemand nou vir ons wat die sweeties gebring het. Hy lyk anders soos hy. Nee. Maar
wie staan by jou, Boetie? Wie staan papa? Wat sê nou? Wean, sy naam Wean.
Wean. Sy haat Wean.
Kyk jy aan toentjies, man.
Ek heel netjies. En ek so netjies klein. En ek het hele Hier is hy al. Hier is hy al. Ja, ek
sê Boetie is dit.
Myn. Myn.
En Boetie se, ja. Net jy hoeveel Boetie se?
2.
2.
As ek drie moet ek versigtig wees dat die jag hulle by en hulle trek by hare.
O, koek, dit is gevaarlik. voor je een ballon te vallen. Oh, kijk.
Er staat een brief van.
Ja, Sinky. Wat zit je nog dan? Goed?
Putih Marco yang hafal. Marco? Itu kembali. Kijk, hoor, is raar.
Kijk, wat? Kijk nou, Boetie, één keer. Kom, Sien, laatste keer. Oké.
No surprise. Gaan ek net vir die baba 'n bietjie kyk as.
Alsof je niet naar wijs.
Maar je mag toe. Mama tegen. Nee.
Wie zoek je naar?
Bij die Paashaas. Hallo, niet? Die Paashaas, als ze zo op ons kunnen.
Ik denk hij was al klaar hier zo. Ek dink jy moet gaan kyk waar is al die eiertjies, hoor? Gaan kyk of hy ons eiers gelos het. Het hy nie op die stoep gelos? Julle moet mooi soek. Wat kry jy daar, Marie? Hey! Vraggies. Soek, Boeta. Waar is myne? Hy word weggesteek. Kom ons kyk. Ek was reg. Moet dan soek jou. Sê moet jy saam met jou soek, anders kry jy niks. Moet dan kom. Papa, hier is dit. Papa, hier is 'n groene. Ga kyk. Ja, dit is by papa se. Kyk op by jou voet, Boetie. Kyk op. Kyk op by jou voet. Marco, kyk hierso. Marco, gaan soek jy 'n bietjie daai kant, ja? Marco? Dis hier so. Gaan soek jy 'n bietjie daarso. Ja, ek gaan soek. Marco, jy soek daarso my liefie. Wow, nog een. Hoendereiers en Paashaas eiers. Het jy by die winkel 'n paas hoender? Nog een. daar op die stoep kyk daar so in die plante of hulle nie daar gelos het nie. Nee. Of kyk in daai blom. Ek kyk bietjie in daai blomme ja. Hierdie blomme. Hallo Putie. Hallo Bianchi. Hallo liefie. Hallo Sien. Ja. Môre is jy 3 weekies oud, hè? Ja. Ja. Wie is daar, Boetie, sissie? Baba ki gagla. Baba ki blagla. Wie is dit? Baba Wean. Baba Wean, en wie se Boetie is dit? Myne. Joune? Ja, en hy kan sit. So. Versigtig. Ja, so sit hy. Kan hy so sit? Is jy lief vir hom? Ja. Sissie, waar kom hy vandaan? In my mama se maag. Wie het hom vir ons gegee? Jesus. Jesus. Kyk hoe sy. Marco? Wie staan op Sissie se skoot? Rian. Wie is dit, Marco? Rian. Rian? Ja. Is jy lief vir jou, Boetie? Ja. Ja, mama. Waar kom hy, Boetie? Waar kom hy vandaan? By my mama maag. Wie het hom vir ons gegee? Mama. Jesus. Jesus, ja. Hoekom sing julle nie gou vir my 'n liedjie nie? Vader Jakob, slaap jy nog? Slaap jy nog? Hoor hoe lei die kerkklok? Hoor hoe lei die kerkklok? Ding dong dalala, ding dong dalala. Wat het vanoggend gebeur, Delmarie? En die Paashaas het gekom. Wat het hy gedoen, Boetie? Hy het ons bos goed hoenders hier en eentjies, ja. Wat is dit? En wat het julle gedoen met dit? Eet. Het julle dit alles opgeëet al?
Ja.
Liewe aarde, en sê gou vir mamma, hoekom bring hy dit vir ons?
Wat die Paashaas maak om lewendig.
Wie's lewendig?
Jesus.
Jesus. Hy het dood gegaan en toe het hy vir ons opgestaan, nê? Hoekom het hy vir ons opgestaan?
Want hy is Jesus.
Hy is Jesus en hy het al ons sondes weggevat, nê? Alleen. Ook my skapies. Sê lief vir julle.
Lief vir julle.
Bye.
Sy sê jy moet nie skaam wees nou nie, mam.
Nou.
Is jy gereed? Ja. Jy mee afpak. Die kry ook 'n persentjie van mamma en pappa of 'n klein persentjie. Boetie, gee jy vir sussie, daar's jou persentjie wat jy vir sussie gee. Gee vir sussie. Hier is jou persent, sis.
Kyk hierso. Kyk hierso. Ek het nog 'n boksie gekry.
Kyk daar, sussie.
Ek het nog 'n boksie van my. Ek het nog 'n boksie van my. Ek het nog 'n boksie van my puzzles. Ek wou baie boksie.
En hierdie gee mamma en pappa vir jou. Boetie en mamma en pappa gee vir jou daai persentjie.
Dankie, mamma. Sussie sê dankie vir mamma en pappa liefie.
Barbie klere.
Mamma en pappa.
En Boetie daar vir Jantjie, daar is jou persentjie. Wat is dit? Ook 'n disse. Kijk voor mama. Zeg cheese.
Cheese.
Wat dan is cheese? 1, 2, 3. Altijd. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Ach ja, jullie moet hier af.
Voor mama kijken.
Kijk zo. 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Mine is a zip. A poppy. Ek de zip.
Kijk, de zip. En een beersie. Zo'n lekker beersie met een zijn sleutels kan zien. Dankie.
Kijk hier zo.
Papa sal moet wys hoe hy werk. Nou papa?
Daar's 'n knoppie op die bord.
Op die grond.
Sit hom daar op die grond. Druk daar op die knop.
Hij kan praten in het boek. Is je boven? Ik ook kruipijn. Ik kruipijn met papaatje. I love you. Zo papa.
Ziet Della papa.
Daar is een knoppetje op zijn maag.
One.
Mama weet ik ze meestal altijd af.
Ach, mijn moeder. Wat is dat cute, man.
Dit is
Dus hier is nou persentjies wat Biantjie vir jou gee. Nou, Marietjie. Die Biantjie gee vir jou dit.
Nee, dit is Wean se persent daar. Ons af.
Oor van jou.
Wat gee Wean vir jou? Wie's dit? Aladdin. Oh, maar jy kry mooi puzzles.
Jo, swab. Ek kan nie sê waar jy is.
Oh, Marco, jy het 'n mooi persent vir Sissa gegee. Jo.
Wat het sy vir?
Kyk, ek mooi kus aan almal.
Dis pragtig.
Ag, disse. Kyk daar. Stom op jou handjie.
Dit is 'n blaue.
Ja.
En daai is
Kijk papa, kijk Marco se akedisse papa.
Mooi. Dus jy het ook maar uitpaak.
Hulle gaan hom byt.
Byt. Nee, baba. Little star.
Jy kom vir oupa dit af.
Papa kan nie praat nie.
Oupa dit maak jy dit weer.
Jy gemaak.
Ook van oupa dit. Oupa dit gee vir dit maar dit. Ach, my moeder. Kijk.
Kom van Omi af. Jammerie. Jammerie. Persent dat Oma vir jou gee. Marco, Oma gee vir jou dit.
Marco, kyk jy kry ook 'n persent. Dan lekker is dit vir jou.
Ons kry dan baie dis daar.
Oh, kyk hoe mooi dit ingekleed. Mama, kyk hoe mooi dit ingekleed.
Papa, is dit pragtig, ouma het jou.
Helikopter.
Ag, is dit nie pragtig nie? Kyk. Moet jy 'n polisiekarretjie, 'n helikopter?
Jy mag nie wag oor dit.
Ook nog 'n baba met 'n pipiepotjie. Dis lekker warm. Is dit Marco se? O, ouma.
So Ami slaapklere.
Ami slaapklere. Kyk hierdie Ami slaapklere.
Dis slippers.
En slippers.
Dit is myne.
Wow, kyk hier Ami slaapklere.
Ooh, sy sê nou is dit baie. Julle af.
Ons moet nog stickers kyk.
Nee, trek dit. I love you. Kom mama,
mama moet dit uitdans so op 'n manier wat dit uitkom.
Nighty night.
Ja, maar die papa sê dis.
Jo, baie. Nie maar net vir die jou. Maar slaapklere. Nee man. Nee man. Sit kyk jy swaai te versien.
Bonnie mama, Bonnie. Mommy, Bonnie. Bonnie. Hy's lekker hoemies. Waar hy gaan afval.
Oor die apfel Marco, sê gou vir papa, ek wil gou hê moet hom afneem. Vra gou mooi vir papa.
Sê asseblief papa toe sien.
Sê please papa.
Sê weer.
I'll be your papa. Mommy.
Mama moet nou hierdie boks keer.
Dis spesiaal vir jou. Oupa dit gee.
I miss you, Mommy.
I love you.
Mommy, kry ek kan daar dan af. Mama,
Nee, pas ons sal hom afsny met die skers as hy gaan hom skeer.
Hi. En zakkie, en stakkie. Kijk dan.
keer as hy klaar iets gedoen het, sê hy nighty night. Oulik nie, boet. Ja, so druk haar op die stiekertjie. Druk op die stieker.
Ja, wat is nou niet goed?
Dis my fiets, maar jy mag op hom ry afterwel. Maar dis 'n seentjie. Wie is jy, Willie? Want dis my. Die groen man wat voor my staan, so groot sterk man. Wie is dit? Hulk? Ja, Hulk.